Good morning, everyone. It is Friday. I love doing Zoom with Zax on Friday. I don't know what it is. Just the feeling knowing I got a weekend coming up afterwards. It's just a good vibe. But I'm super excited to bring you yet another show. I'm glad that I'm back to doing these a lot more frequently. As you all know, had to take care of my mother and get her situated. Had a family reunion to plan, a house to clean out. It's been a crazy last couple months, but the flow is coming back. And I'm excited you're still with me. Please make sure you are liking, commenting, and sharing. Of course, on LinkedIn. That's our main platform, but we're also on YouTube, also on Facebook. And I got an awesome guest for y'all today. So I really want to make sure you get some people in the room. So we're going to get started and we're going to have a good time to close out the week. Welcome to Zoom In with Zach. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Zoom In with Zach. Super excited to introduce you to one of my brothers in media today. But of course, before I bring him on, I got to start with my trivia question. And this is okay. They're all corny. But of course, if you think you know the answer, put it in the chat. How did Yoda get his first lead? So we're talking like in business. How did Yoda get his first lead? All right. So if you think you know the answer, throw it in the chat. And of course, make sure you're liking, commenting, and sharing. So we're going to have an awesome show. And the reason we're going to have an awesome show is I got my brother in media with me here today. I ended up meeting this dude years ago, back in the heyday of My New Philly. And I learned about him, learned what he was doing. I was like, wait a minute, like what you're doing reminds me of My New Philly, but in Delaware. And as I've watched his career grow and his platform grow, like I've just been in awe of this man and what he's doing. But I'm gonna let him tell most of it to you. I just want to finally introduce you to my man, Mr. Ivan Thomas, aka Big Ive. Big Ive, how are you today, brother?
Brother, I am good. Zach, thanks for having me, man.
For
Happy
sure.
and privileged to be on your platform, bro.
Indeed. And guys, when I say big, like dude got about 4 or 5 inches on me. Like he's up here. He's in the chair now, so you can't tell. But this is a big man, man, and your presence and all that stuff. It comes off on camera and what you're doing behind the camera. So major props to you, man. But please, I don't want to do DETV any lack of justice. Please tell the folks about your amazing organization and brand.
Well, DETV, and again, thanks again, bro. DETV is basically a TV station of group of a family of amazing content creators that we sit and we make sure that we get our information and build shows and build just good content and make sure that we give it to marginalized and um, uh, in marginalized communities, right? Because we want to make sure that our black and brown brothers, and not excluding any other races, get information that can change their quality of life, right? So our number two thing is to make sure that we bring people together on this journey. So here in Delaware, there was a void, there was a pandemic, and there was a media demic, right? And the media demic was, I call it a media demic, and what it was certain information wasn't going to certain communities, right? So back in 2012, I decided to, you know what, let me start telling the story and start showing people in my community that I know that are doing amazing things that would never make the paper. Because at that time, Delaware is smaller than Philadelphia, right? So we had one newspaper called the News Journal. And I remember opening the News Journal, and every time that I opened it, it was always something negative about
Mm.
someone that looked like me, right? And I was like, that's not what I know. I
Right.
know, just to say, I know Zach, right? And Zach went to college. He's doing his thing. He is helping mentor young guys in the neighborhood. Those are the stories that I was telling in the early parts of DETV, just running around with a Canon camera and a white van, right? That it was like the free candy van, right? And I put DETV on the side of the van, and I had a shirts that I made myself. Had the heat press in the basement because everything was in the
Mhm.
basement, and it said DETV. I had a mic flag that had DETV on it, and just in marketing, everything is branding, right? And I wanted to make sure that even though I was grassroots, that I wanted to look like I knew what I was doing.
Mhm.
And when people saw that white, they call it the white candy van. When they saw that van come around the corner, right, they knew exactly that okay, here's someone that looks like me, that represents the community, that's here to tell our story. Over the time, I built this, and at the time I was just by myself in the basement. Over the time, I started building a following,
Mhm.
and it was still new to me, you know. And then I started seeing the politicians wanting to come on DETV. So the first person that reached out to me to do some work for them was Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester,
Mhm.
United States Congresswoman, and her sister called and she was like, "Hey, my sister needs some headshots for she just needs some headshots." And I was like, "All right, cool, I'll do some headshots." And I get there and it's Congresswoman. She was running for Congress and at that time, and I did the pictures and I didn't know what to charge her at first. So I was like, don't even worry about it, right? I was just happy to do some work.
Right.
And they, to this day, they still use my photos for the push cards. So I began a relationship with Congresswoman Lisa. Next person after that was our county executive, Matt Meyer. Same thing, did pictures for them. And would do little interviews, right? And people, when I saw it, I was like, I have a thing here, let me build a website. So a friend of mine built a website called the detvch.com. And I just started going in. Every chance I could get, I was at every event, every chance that I would make, I would, do stories, do quick stories and put them up on social media. And then it started growing and growing. And then in 2015, I had six of my clients were six people, six politicians that were running for office. All of them won in 2016, right? I got
Mhm.
appointed to be station manager to the government station here in Wilmington. I knew nothing about TV, but what I did have and still do was just this creative aspect on how to tell a story.
Mhm.
And they wanted to liven it up a little bit, and they wanted to bring more, more younger viewers in to watch the news or watch whatever. And while I was there, when you're at a position, Zach, right? You want to learn what you can learn.
Right.
So these two older gentlemen, they took me under their wing and they were showing me how to go from Big Ive to Ivan Thomas, right?
Mm.
And how to manipulate light and how to start the intro and everything. It was just amazing. And then I left there and went back to DETV, like stronger, bigger, better. And in 2019, a birdie whispered in my ear and said, "Yo, there's a public access TV station coming up for play. You know." I said, "All right." I threw my hat in the ring. We won, and ever since then, it's like the community loves us. We've been building everything, and if you don't mind, would you mind me just showing you some of the stuff that we've
No, not at
created?
all.
So after 30 years, we created. So if you're watching sports, and I know you're a Sixers fan, right?
Okay.
Our first contract was for the Delaware Bluecoats.
Mhm.
We are the broadcast partner of the Delaware Bluecoats, where we produce and broadcast all their home games.
Right.
Even when they made it to the championship in Florida, we were able to broadcast those through ESPN. We created Delaware's own a news show. And again, you wanna be the best, you gotta look like the best.
Right.
And this is my news guy, Matt. Um, we actually also started, let me see, I did a couple interviews with people that come to the Wilmington Library. This is myself and Malcolm Jamal Warner. So every
Jamal,
time
yep.
someone comes through, we're there all doing live broadcast. We created a kids show called DETV Kids. Doing
DETV Kids is awesome. Y'all need to get your kids up on that. That was on point. I love watching it.
Thank you. And what that is, it's called homeschooled.
Mhm.
It is certified teachers teaching their curriculum, like a 7 to 10 minute curriculum throughout a 30-minute show. So kids can learn Mandarin, that other the other gentleman, he's our music instructor, um, history. You know what I mean? We go through the line. It's definitely amazing. Um, we also created some cooking shows, and in these cooking shows, um, the gentleman to the right is our executive producer, Dana Herbert, who won the first season of Cake Boss. This gentleman here to his right is Ruben. Ruben was just on Chopped on the Food Network and made it to the final round and
Wow.
lost. So we have three cooking shows that are on DETV. Again, this is Dana's show. So we have two stations, and this is one of our our first station. The other stations across town, and then we have the morning show.
Hmm.
And I'm a host to the morning show with my lovely co-host Vincenza. It's called Good Morning Wilmington. So we've been moving and shaking here in Delaware, bro. We've
So
been doing
awesome,
it.
man. Listen,
Thank
Ivan,
you.
I'm super proud of everything y'all have accomplished. Even on my last show, I had another sort of self-made media man here in the local area, Hector Nunez of Water Ice. And 20, 30 episodes ago, I had Kyrie Terrell, the founder of My New Philly. And I'm just so proud of all these folks, especially, minorities who are creating their own path in the media space and creating opportunities for others,
Yeah.
for good folks to talk about good content and positive news.
Hmm.
Like it's where I love to live and what I like to take in. And I just
Yeah.
give you props for putting Delaware.
Thank
I
you.
won't say putting Delaware on the map. Y'all was the first state on the map, but
Thank you.
putting Delaware media on the map. We'll use those
Thank
words.
you.
Amazing job. So, of course, everyone who's watching, if you have not checked out DETV yet, please do so. If you don't live in the Delaware area, of course, you can find this on their website, detvch.com. You can go on LinkedIn. You can go on Facebook, Instagram, all these different places you can go to consume DETV content, and I urge you all to do so. Um, Now, I got some questions for you, Ive.
Okay.
We cannot leave the show without giving a little three random questions.
Okay. All
All
right.
right. So I need you to give me a three-digit number.
Okay.
None of the numbers can be the same.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you a question that corresponds with each number you give me. What's
All
your
right.
lucky number?
369.
369. 369. All right. So question number three. First question
Mhm.
you're going to get. Looking ahead, what's something major you hope to accomplish in the next 2 years?
Oh wow. Great question.
Hmm.
This somewhere goes along in our strategic plan, right?
Hmm.
What I want to do in the next 2 years is, so we're rebuilding the company, Nate, right now, right? And we're rebuilding it to a place of what we're going after is our FCC license, right? We want to make sure that we're in stone the broadcast network for Delaware, right? So when you look at it, Zach, what we want to do and what we're going to do is be Delaware's own PBS, right? Like,
Gotcha.
and shout out to PBS for everything that they've done for many, many years. Delaware does not have, until we came, like that community 24-hour broadcasting television network. And that's what we want. We're going to dominate and have been dominating the social space. But right now, what we want to do just to move it a little further to get more shows going is to become FCC licensed throughout the
Gotcha.
state of Delaware. So that's one, and that's one. The other part is I want to make sure that as a minority organization, what we do is we also hire, students coming out of Delaware State University or any other university that have mass comm and communication backgrounds. Because what we found out in our research is that when they come out, about 80% of the kids that come out of college with a mass comm or communication background end up here staying in Delaware, going into education or
Hmm.
banking or something like that. They're not touching it. So we want to be that organization that, unlike, and this is not a poll at ABC, but in Philadelphia, they're union. So they can intern and go get coffee, but we want them to intern and touch the board. We want them to intern and grab some mics. We want them to intern, and like I actually have an intern in there now from the arts in Philadelphia, who's an animator who's animating our kids show on DETV Kids called
Wow.
Madison's Park. So, he's excited. He comes into work and he's like, I can do something, So we want to make sure that we become a gateway, to a stepping stone, if you will, to those kids, because I myself, I don't have a college degree for this. I pulled this from the muscle and from the muscle with a lot of people that believed in me. So I want
Mhm.
to just, hand that off to kids that's coming out of college. Like, I believe in you. Let me see what you can do. And then, and just go from there. So that's my plan for the next two.
Awesome. Awesome. Love it. Um, Next question, number six.
Hmm.
Ooh, what skill set did you gain or improve during the quarantine?
Leadership, leadership and organization, right? When you're a creator, and that's a great question. When you're a creator, a lot of creatives, right, and creators, they don't have the business acumen. You know what I mean? So they're just, I just want to create, and I just want to go, I just want to play all day. But we talked earlier, our revenue tripled, like, within the last year. So we was forced to just, it wasn't no more Ivan in the basement anymore. It was more, we had to put systems in place. That's one thing that I've learned that we had to do. And two was to organize departments, create departments, and then organize the departments, and then manage the people. So
Mhm.
management has definitely been a huge part of, the current success of what I've improved myself and my team.
Awesome. And extremely important. I've seen mismanagement be the only reason of certain businesses' downfall. Like everything else was great except that part. So it's
Yeah.
vital.
And
Um,
one of the
mhm.
things that is, a lot of people have to know what they don't know, right?
Right.
Like, they when I came in, hiring um people, to help me out, to give me advisors, and so on. I knew at first I didn't understand this, right? And so what I would do is I would go learn it. If it was paying for a class, if it was big, picking someone's brain, I'm like obsessed with learning. I'm
Mhm.
obsessed with being better, right? And if I don't know something, I know, okay, this is what's needed to make this ship run better. It needs an oar, it needs a bow, it needs whatever, Let's go, and let me learn how to make it. And then if I learn how to make it, or just learn the principles of it, I now can hire someone to do it. And now I know what to look for.
Yep. Love it. Last question for you, Ivan.
Okay.
Closing it out with a bang.
Boom,
Number
boom.
9. What's one of the biggest hurdles you've overcome or you didn't overcome? And what have you learned from it?
Biggest hurdles.
So something you've overcome, or it could be something that you didn't overcome. And what did
Mm,
you learn from that?
the biggest hurdles, man. The biggest hurdle had to be budgeting, right? Like, it had to be. It had to be. And there's so many things, right? When it hurdles when it comes to a creative switching to a business person. But budgeting is definitely the one that can sink an organization, right?
Mhm.
Again, when I first started, it was myself. And in myself, you can manage yourself. You can, the money that was coming in, I was doing approximately 10 grand a month. And, by myself, that was good. That was great. It was lovely. And then we go to two people, to three people, to four people, to eight people, to 25 people, right? So when, and this is what happened, if you don't mind me, spilling it, 'cause I
No,
don't care, because my failures hopefully will be someone else's success.
for
And,
sure.
I'm fine with that. We get into it, right, and we're building as a creative. I want to build all these shows, and I didn't even care how much they cost to build it. I just know I had access to build it. Let's build it, right? And then, the rubber meets the road. Is like, okay, how much is my payroll? What is my burn rate? Right, right. I'm spending 70,000 a month in this, and then I was like, okay, went to my team. Now let's backtrack. Let's reverse engineer this, right? And let's go. Let's start with each show. How much does it cost? The cost, not the price, but the cost for each show. And
Mhm.
then that's where, I saw the difference and decided where we needed to make changes. And coming up with a marketing plan and a sales plan to make sure that we cover our costs and still have a 45%, or some people say 27, but I like 45% margin on what
Right.
we're creating, right?
Right.
So that was one of the biggest hurdles, man, and I'll just wrap it in a bow for you, is to go from creative to business person, and understanding, like Michael Gerber, going from baby, from infancy to adult in business, and understanding how this thing really, really works.
100%. Thank you so much for that knowledge. And I have a lot of young creatives in my circle. So I hope you
Hmm.
all are listening and taking heed to some of Ivan's words, because he's speaking good knowledge for you all. Um, well, listen, man, I really do appreciate it as our time. This has been a great episode. I always love catching up with you. We had some
Yes,
time to
sir.
chat beforehand. We're probably going to continue our chat after this, and do our little mastermind plans of how we take over the tri-state. But you're doing great things, man, and I really do appreciate your time today. Um,
Thank you.
of course, I got to touch on it before we head out of here, because back when I first started doing this show this year, in my
Mhm.
second season of Zooming with Zach, I was forgetting about telling people the answer to the trivia question. Like, all
Mm.
the time, I would just forget. So I'm put it up again. How did Yoda get his first lead? Now, I'll ask you, Ivan. Do you know the answer to this?
I'm gonna just shoot something out. The Force.
So good, very close. He used the Salesforce.
Yo, I just thought of that when you said that. I was like, he used the Salesforce.
It's so corny.
That's it.
No one guessed it, so I feel like I got to win. When you don't guess it and no one types in a correct answer from the folks watching, that's a win. So for those of you watching this later on, you ain't have a chance. Should have tuned in live. Again, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Please continue to like, comment, share the show. Of course, we're on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and as always, I'm gonna leave it to my man Ivan to close the show. You all have a great weekend.
All right, what's going on, everybody? This is your main man, Big Ive, the talk of the town, Mr. DETVCH.com, Mr. Positivity. I'm gonna tell you what, if you're looking for content that show people in a better light and that brings people together, you definitely want to check out DETVCH.com. We're not just a media company, but we're a family that cares about our community, ourselves, and everyone around us. So when you get a chance, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. We're everywhere. We're everywhere you need to be. DETVCH.com. Not just broadcasting, but the content creators that are here to make you a better person.